I think that's where wisdom comes from, because a lot of wise people, certain pain they've been through that they're currently living with or had to just coexist with, but that's where that peace comes from, where it's like, this happened, I've been through it.
Speak Up with Vernisa and Jen. It's time to speak up.
Hello everyone, my name is Vernisa.
Hey y'all, this is Jen.
And this is our podcast, Speak Up. What's up, Jen?
Hey girl.
How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be back on our pre-recorded episodes.
Yes, feeling good. I'm doing good. This feels really good right now.
I agree.
For those of you that don't know, me and Jen are best friends. We create this podcast to use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect.
That's right, y'all. If you don't know by now, self-love and respect are two core values we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Yes, most definitely. Before we get started, a quick shout out to our amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester Avenue. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at MYY.BAR. As you can see, she just slayed me.
Hey. And shout out to our other sponsor, Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind, for a goal to let your self-love show through your self-care. Their chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while you're taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com or check them out on Instagram at beactualnatural.
Yes, for real, the products we have in our skin go a long way.
I agree.
By the way.
Yes.
So tonight's episode is titled, What Are You Doing With It? So what are we doing? What we
doing with what, right? So tonight we're going to be talking about having a relationship with pain. And this is something that obviously we're all going to go through in life. If you are not currently going through it, if you have gone through it, then you know, right? So we felt that this was important to bring out there because we wanted to normalize pain. We wanted to let everybody know that everybody goes through it, no matter what kind of platform we have, even if we don't have a platform, no matter what role we play. Pain is something that is inevitable in life.
That's so true. And, even though pain hurts, I think we have to acknowledge how much power we give to it and how much we let it affect our life. Like, we're not saying completely mute it out or act like it doesn't affect you, but it's like, okay, when you get past a certain milestone of it, what are you going to do with it?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing with pain, right? That we always talk about realizing some things just won't have an answer. And I think that's productive in the sense of, I'm not going to be trying to drive myself a certain way because I'm trying to find the answer to everything. I think that's one thing I've learned about life, and unfortunately movies try to teach us that we have an answer to everything, but we won't. And I think pain is definitely one of them, especially if you go through a traumatic event or something you didn't ask to happen, or it really blindsided you, changed your whole plans, even the way you live your life, etc. It is hard to really try and find an answer. And I think it would just make things worse trying so hard to find it when that's not helping us move forward. I think if anything, let's try to accept the fact that not everything will have an answer and then move forward and try and work with that pain afterwards.
I love that you said work with that pain, because it's like, it's true, when we overthink, we're actually putting ourselves through the pain more, like they say with stress. So it's like, let's say it's a physical pain we're talking about. Now mentally, if you're overthinking what happened, you're putting yourself through mental pain, and it just adds on to it. Like they say with like a breakup or anything, if you're just replaying the events or something, you're just gonna stay in that. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the pain. Like, we question like, why did this happen? Like, I actually tweeted this the other day. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? What is this protecting me from? And I think when you do that, it's like, okay, let me get through what's going on here, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, I really like that, of shifting your perspective on how you see it. And even for all of us, or a lot of us, right, we say like, well, I want to be happy, that's my big goal in life. And I think that's a beautiful goal to have. I think we all want to be happy, but what does happiness really mean if that's the goal? And I think for such a long time, I lied to myself thinking happiness meant, I'm free from everything. I don't experience pain anymore. But in going through certain things now, it's realizing I can still be happy and have gone through all those things and still have my non-happy days. I've released that pressure of feeling like I have to have a happy smile on my face every day, or pretending that something isn't bothering me just so I can keep that positive outlook on life. Like, some days you're gonna not feel that happiness, but that doesn't mean you can't strive for it at a certain point. So just learning to look at things like that, especially even that happiness, like knowing that with happiness you can still have that balance with pain is very important.
Yeah, like that pain and happiness can coexist. I think the happiest people like come to terms with their pain.
Right.
It's like, okay, they accept it and they go through it. Because I remember listening to an audio and it was talking about how, you know, we think happiness is this end destination. It's like you're never going to be happy if you're trying to go to happiness. Because once you get to a point, something could turn around for the better, but then something else is going to be wrong. Let's be real. We're never going to have like perfect, everything is completely perfect. So it's like, well, we're always going to be unhappy because this one little thing is wrong, but this is happy. So you're right. And I love that you brought up, I love that you brought up acknowledging like your days that ain't so happy. Like I've been learning like how that grace, like, okay, well, I started again tomorrow. Shoot, because it ain't that, because you know what, shoot, it took me down. I was crying today, whatever. But tomorrow's going to be better. Like I've been living by this thing, it gets better lately. And that's been helping me like keep that hope of like, it's going to get like, okay, it gets better. Like, you know, I think we limit ourselves when we think this pain is the end all be all, like that's the rest of my life. Because this one little event happened. Because that's how you give the pain more power than you're supposed to have.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, talking back to what you were saying with what is this pain trying to teach me, you know, like what can I learn from this? I like to go based off of what is productive with this. So yes, acknowledging my pain, knowing it exists, understanding I may not have an answer, that's just part of step one to living with that pain or having a relationship with it. Because if I just sit here and dwell in this pain, how is that helping me move forward? Now, if I dwell on it consistently, right? Because I can dwell on it, like you said, for a day, today wasn't my day, whatever. But if I'm just on a full daily basis going like that, I stop living my life, I stop doing what I love to do, I stop seeking help, professional or even from my loved ones, then that's more of like, it's getting to dangerous territory and I really need to reevaluating. And sometimes we just need to let that pain out in order for us to even know how much is consuming our lives, or even get that tough love from somebody letting us know that, hey, you know, I've noticed you're not yourself lately, like what's going on, you know, if you haven't talked about it, or I'm concerned about you, can you please let me help you? I think sometimes we need that outside voice if we're getting to a dangerous place. But even me with myself, knowing that voice is always telling me, okay, Jen, you're still waking up for a reason. You still need to make it through somehow, some way, because you're not done yet. You know, as a God-fearing woman, like I believe that I'm still waking up for a purpose. If God believes that my time is done, then that'll be the day, right? But if I'm still here, able to breathe, able to do this show, able to be productive with my best friend, able to enjoy everything, then I still have a purpose that I have to complete. So if I stop being productive, I'm not ever going to get there.
That's so true. That's when the pain dominates. And go back off of like acknowledging what pain is teaching you. I think too, pain teaches you how to be in tune with your vulnerable side. You know, sometimes we're scared of our vulnerable side. Like we don't want to show people that something hurts. Like that's like if someone hurts your feelings, you know, you want to play it up, I'm fine, it didn't bother me. And it's like, honestly, you actually heal by acknowledging that hurt me, or you know what, that event that just happened did take me down, but you know what, I ain't giving up, I'm not quitting. And I think when we're in tune with our vulnerable side, we won't feel like we have to hide from our loved ones at that. You know, when we're not feeling our best. You know, I've been learning to like have a relationship with that and like not feel ashamed if something still bothers me, even though my friends or family should think I should be over something by now. And it's like, okay, there's a reason that is still bothering me. A person's not in my shoes, don't know the trauma I've been through and why. Because in the day, everything that affects us, like something could happen to me or you, it's going to affect us differently because of the things we grew up with or whatever. So it's like, you know, learning to have grace even when other people are going through things. Like maybe this is how they were taught to deal with their problems, and just learn, okay, when the time comes, it'll all come out and we can work through it together. Or like I could be there to help that person, or they can help me. Definitely. You know, so it's really big, and you know, you have to acknowledge why it hurts. And I think that's too, being in tune with your vulnerable side. Like, because sometimes it ain't even the pain itself, it's something that it triggered, or the event is like just punching another scar that you already had that just needed more attention.
Absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, this is something we have to come to terms with, that pain is normal in life, that it is something we're going to go through no matter what age too. And then the degree of the pain may intensify to the older we get, right? We go through more real life problems, we deal with more people, we're growing as a person, re-identifying ourselves, whatever it is. So it's something that we have to live with, and just knowing that, okay, life is going to throw curveballs at me, sometimes very painful ones that we may not be able to fully even explain. So I've taken the route of even like talking to pain, right, as like an entity almost, because if it has enough power to impact me, then I should have the power to be able to talk to it. Obviously it may sound funny the way to explain it, but I take it as like writing a letter. You know, they always say like write a letter to the universe, or writing a letter to yourself, or anything like that. And I think that's a really good way to do it too, even with pain. If writing's not your thing, then do like a mental talk with pain, or just, if that's too weird for you, do it with yourself, right? The painful self, and then the self that's trying to heal that painful self. And I think that's really helping me in that sense. And hopefully it helps y'all out there if it's something that you've never tried.
No, that's real right there. Like, end of the day, don't let the pain get the best of you. I think that's the thing. I've been learning to release, like, whatever it is that's causing me to still be hindered in it. Don't get me wrong, some pain will never go away, but then that's that thing I'm going with, the coexisting with it. Like, okay, this still feels some way, but you know what? I'm not going to let it stop me completely. I'm not going to make the pain force me to quit whatever it is I'm trying to do, whether it is you have your purpose or a certain certain, like, sometimes too, pain could stop you, could make you self-sabotage the good things in your life, because sometimes we're in this cloud that we don't see the blessings around us. So I've been learning to, like, push those clouds aside a little bit, acknowledge, like, those things that are still there that the pain is distracting me from, because pain can be a distraction as well.
Yeah, and it's even that too, reminding yourself that that pain didn't take everything away from you, right? If you have loved ones, if you still have a roof over your head, or if the pain is coming from losing something like that, again, it's being grateful even for the smallest of things that you have to. We emphasize this a lot because sometimes in life, on our day-to-day routine, we forget that there are still little blessings in every single day. You made it home safely. You're still able to, share with your loved ones or with yourself or talk to God or anything like that. I think those are little blessings in themselves. So remembering to always have that. And then having that grace with yourself, like you were mentioning, right? Like, do not compare yourself to others, because we're all going to go through that pain differently. As you were mentioning earlier, like, it just needs to be emphasized, because I think sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, well, my pain's not that bad. I haven't experienced this, so maybe it's not that bad. But if it is that bad to you, then you deserve to acknowledge it and really feel it and work through that pain. And even if somebody may tell you, oh, well, you haven't experienced this, brush that off. This isn't a competition of who's lived the most painful life or anything like that. Can you imagine trying to live that type of life? Again, I go to, how is that productive?
Yeah, like, don't let anyone diminish how you feel, because like Jim was saying, it's a reason that you feel that way. And also too, with looking back, I have a prayer book, and sometimes I'll look back at writings I did, like, in January, like, previous month. And I'm like, wow, like, sometimes you have to have gratitude that you're living and what you were praying for. Like, sometimes I look back, I'm like, I remember being sad about this, but now I'm in the solution. I'm like, I got past that, and I'm in a happier space of that thing I was writing about. So it's like, sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, that pain that hurt us 5 years ago, you survived it. You're actually a better person. You could talk about it now. You can get, it's really about those, but even if it's just baby steps, like, it was just this one thing I healed from, this one thing, the fact you can still talk about yesterday, I think that's a blessing and stuff that we overlook.
I agree, absolutely. And it's necessary for that growth, right? Like, would you be able to say you would have been half the person you are today without that pain? And maybe it's hard to even see it that way right now, because you're going through that pain, you're in that storm right now, right? But like you're saying, if you let time just continue to move forward and you continue to be productive with that pain and really talking to it and moving forward, then you'll start to see, okay, yeah, I'm surviving this, and if I hadn't gone through this, then I wouldn't be able to speak the way that I do, or even look at life the way that I do, appreciate my loved ones the way that I do. So again, it coincides with how am I growing as a person from that pain, and how am I appreciating my life a little bit more after it.
I love appreciating your life after mine. Like, I just said this on a previous episode, but like, when you look at pain and the person that you are after it, it's like, you actually gained something after. It's like, I didn't have that strength before. I really was a different person. So that's why sometimes, like, when stuff happens, I'm like, this dope ass person I'm becoming, amazing ass woman. I'm like,
I want to change it.
It got molded, like they said, the diamond and diamond in pressure and the rub, all that. It's definitely important. And, it's okay if you think your pain is unfair. Like, life isn't fair. I mean, as cliche as that thing is, things ain't always, sometimes things happen, it's unexplainable. You know what I mean? But it's okay to, like, have those moments and question things.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we may think, oh, but I stuck to the plan. I am the best person that I can be. I work hard. X, Y, Z. We could list all our positive qualities. But unfortunately, we do just go through certain experiences that we don't understand why. And it's okay if we think that way and just continue to move forward, because what am I going to do? Again, just wallow in my pain, sit here and keep thinking, oh, my life is unfair. My life is unfair. If you ask anybody on the street for their story, you'll hear everybody's life is unfair. Everybody goes through something. So we have to move forward as best as we can.
Yeah, and I want to say this too: stay away from people who add to your pain. So if it's a person who's throwing salt, like they know you're going through something, they kick you when you're down, or if they're the reason for the pain, add into it. Stay away from that, because I feel like if you're on your healing process, your healing journey, trying to actually keep your mind in tune, the last thing you need is somebody adding salt to it. So I think we have to be. You know what? I'd honestly, you analyze yourself, right, when you're going through pain, but analyze the people around you.
Yeah.
How are they reacting to your pain, or how you're taking it? Are they trying to be helpful and love it, or are they kind of happy you're in that space, or trying to keep you down? Like, those are things you have to ask yourself, or just not the best environment to be in while you're trying to go through a healing process.
Definitely, like asking yourself, what if it's because of a certain person that I'm going through this pain. I know that's hard, especially if it is a loved one, somebody we're sharing our lives with, but would you rather continue to live in that pain and just kind of deal with it because of somebody else, or knowing you have that power to be probably better off after that pain? Whether it's a friend or a loved one or even a family member who's not doing the best thing for you. So it's okay to always reevaluate. We're big on reevaluating people in our lives, reevaluating friendships, everything, things like that. And knowing too that some pain is temporary, right? That they say, oh, time heals all wounds, but then there's also pain that you learn to live with, and that's okay too. Letting time do its thing is my new quote for me, because like now I have a pain that I have to live with, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna let it consume me. It doesn't mean that it's gonna now be my new identity. Now it just means, I acknowledge that you're there on a daily basis, but through time it starts hurting a little bit less.
Yeah, and I think that's where wisdom comes from, because a lot of wise people, certain pain they've been through that they're currently living with, or had to just coexisted, but that's where that peace comes from, where it's like, this happened, I've been through this, but I'm still, and appreciate the battle scars. Yes, they're not pretty and stuff, but the fact you have them and you can look back and say, this is, I remember being this age and this happened to me, or whatever, this is from this. That's a blessing in itself, to even look back and say, okay, I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm still able to speak about that painful event.
Yeah, I mean, that might take a little bit of a time, right? But I think it becomes a beautiful thing once you start to accept those battle scars, physical or mental as well. And again, we're talking about looking back at how far you've come. And just finding the blessings in life. I think this is one of the best things that's helping me move forward, is just realizing that there are still good things in my day, good people in my life, people that I can vent to, or just, have a better time with and everything. And just realizing that this isn't my final destination, that as long as I continue moving forward, I can make it past this, and it's not gonna have that power over me as much.
That's so true. And like, just learning just to be grateful of everything, and knowing that you don't have to go through it alone. Be grateful for the people who were around when whatever you experienced you were going through. It's like, sometimes I feel like when pain hits us, we want to close off. Don't get me wrong, it's okay to take that isolation time, but I've been learning the importance of like letting people genuinely love me, or be there for me. It's like, we don't have to be so hardcore all the time. Like, the lesson I personally have been going through.
Yeah, I think that's big for sure. Again, learning to be grateful for that strength. Like, I think that's a beautiful thing afterwards too, when it was like, dang, I really thought I wasn't gonna make it through, but here I am, and I'm rebuilding myself. I'm gaining that strength again. And I love that quote that says, you don't know how strong you are until you have no other choice but to just be strong. And it's like, dang, I don't know what I'm made out of until I have no choice but to put it out there. So I think that's a beautiful thing, and just learning to have that relationship, that from that pain comes that strength as well. So one day I will look at that pain and use it as my strength to move forward.
That's so true. And it's important to pour into yourself when going through, because at the end of the day, you need yourself more than anything when stuff's happening. I remember I was going on a run, and I actually pushed myself to a new height. And the song by Destiny's Child, Survivor, came up, and I was running, and I was so proud of myself that I started crying while I was running. Like, tears were coming out of my eyes, tears of joy, of course. But it was like, that song is just amazing. But I just love I'm a survivor. Like, you look back at things you've been through, you thought you weren't going to survive, and then like to see myself like finding healthier hobbies, coping mechanisms, just to better myself, take care of myself, my health, my physical health, my mental health, and then like seeing like, oh, I'm running past, I'm running now, and building it off, it's like sometimes you have to pat you have to look back and give yourself that hug, like, I am surviving, and I'm, and the fact you're not letting the pain put you into bad habits. Yes,
Right.
we go through a stage where, I'm not judging anyone who has different coping mechanisms, but when you are able to finally turn into a healthy coping, find something healthy to do to keep your mind active and going.
That's definitely what matters, the healthy coping mechanisms. There's so many things that can make you feel better. I think, working out, exercising is one big thing that's definitely going to help you. Because I think we take fitness for granted too. Like, we don't realize,
and it's free.
Right, that part. What it does to you on the outside, that's definitely awesome. But what it does to you mentally, because once you have that mental stamina, you realize, I got this. I can do that physical stuff. That is nothing. It's really what's going on in here that is more powerful. But just remembering that you have more power than you think, even in your pain.
That's so true. Like, a lot of I've been around marathon runners lately, and they've been saying, like, it's really their mind that pushes them to those heights. Like, even if their body's aching, it's like, it's something about when you tell yourself you could do something, so it's like with the pain, I'm gonna get, versus, oh my goodness, like, okay, I'm gonna get past this, I'm gonna figure it out, it's gonna be all right, and me and Jen both are women of God-fearing women. Faith. Sometimes you need to put that on real quick when you're going through that horrible part of it.
Absolutely, that's a big one. And how does this relate to self-love? Well, acknowledging your pain and trying to be better and moving forward from it is the only way that is self-love.
Yeah, literally, like, just building that, because self-love is loving all parts of you. And I think we gotta love our painful parts too, our challenges. Like, that's a part of us as well. And they all, everything about it. It's like, here we go, I'm prepared to dating. When you meet a person and then, like, you guys got comfortable and it's like they see you without makeup, or your crazy looking days,
right.
or like, you might have a bad day where your attitude ain't the best. It's like they're gonna love, the person who fully loves you is gonna still love you through, and not make that the only reason they leave you. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with yourself, like loving those parts of you as well.
Yeah, y'all, we wanted to remind you that your mind is more powerful than you think, that is really where it all starts. So as long as you're taking care of your mind, the rest is going to follow. Even if things don't seem like they're going to ever end or get easier for you, take care of your mind the way that you would want somebody else to take care of it for you.
Beautifully said. We appreciate y'all tapping into our 77th episode. We back in business, so expect more content coming soon. But a quick shout out to our sponsors before we go. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done, even tooth gems. Ask for my, tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. Instagram is at MYY.BAR.
And shout out to our other sponsor, Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind, for a goal to let your self-love show through your self-care. Their chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while you're taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com or check them out on Instagram at beactualnatural.
Yes, most definitely. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that. Tell your friends about SpeakUpJV.
Yes.
We got some surprises coming soon, so be ready. Follow us on Instagram at SpeakUpJV. We're also on Twitter at SpeakUpJV. We love y'all.
Love y'all.